גליל Software הוקמה על ידי ג'ימי לוי, בעצם במטרה לשנות את מפת התעסוקה של לא יהודים. בשנה שעברה, כשהתחלנו את הפעילות שלנו במהלך שבוע היזמות במגזר הלא יהודי, נפגשנו עם מנהל בית ספר באבלין, בית ספר תיכון, הגיעו 4 כיתות. תראו לכם שהגיעה כיתה אחת שהייתה בחופש באותו יום, והגיעה בכל זאת בשביל לשמוע יזמים, שמנו 3 יזמים ערבים בתחום ההייטק על הבמה. ושוחחנו גם עם חלק מהמורים, והיה שם מורה למתמטיקה שהיה נורא מתוסכל, כי הוא סיים לימודי הנדסה בטכניון, והוא לא הצליח לקבל עבודה בשום מקום. הוא הלך להיות מורה, כמו שהולכים הרבה, והלכו במשך שנים הרבה מאוד בוגרי הנדסה ומתמטיקה ומחשבים, כי הם לא קיבלו עבודה אצל מעסיקים יהודים. ועכשיו זה אחרת. אז ג'ימי לוי ואינס סעיד, היזם והמנכ"ל, יספרו לנו על גליל Software, על האתגר ועל המציאות. בבקשה.
Great way to start. So, first of all, I don't speak Hebrew, and I apologize for that. One more time. Towards me, like that. Okay. So I don't speak Hebrew, and I apologize. I'm not even sure. I did not understand the introduction, so I'm not going to go there. But thank you. Yep. Sorry. Please. Right there. Okay, great. So thank you very much for inviting Ines and myself to this evening. When we were awarded when the Prime Minister gave us the award at that ceremony, they didn't let us speak. So I've been saving this speech for a long time. I'm not suggesting that the Prime Minister didn't want to hear us speak, but I'm not going to really speak about how we started Galil Software and you know my background, etc. But really, what I want to try to do is talk about a subject that's not spoken about a lot in this country, and it's I think unfortunate because I think it's where the future of the country lies, and that's the economy in the Arab community in Israel. And what I'd like to do is to look at some of the lessons learned from Galil Software in the broader context of the opportunity for developing the economy in the Arab community. And I want to do that by focusing on three subjects. But first, just a quick background I'm assuming everybody understands that there's 1.3 million Arab citizens that live in Israel. It's more than 20% of the population, but it's less than 8% of the GDP, right? Now, if you can raise the level of income of the Arab population in Israel to be more or less equal to that of the Jewish population, you're going to add 30 billion shekels to the Israeli economy a year. So it's a big number, right? It's several tevas. So that's what you have the opportunity to do by investing in the Arab community. I said I wanted to look at you know lessons learned from Galil Software in the larger context of investing in the Arab community. I want to do that in focusing on 3 subjects. One is infrastructure, one is employment, and one is entrepreneurship. So first, infrastructure, or the lack of infrastructure. For you to understand, or for me to try to communicate what the issue is, when we started Galil Software, we called Bezek and we said we would like an internet line because we're starting a software company in Nazareth. And they told us that's great, and if you can wait 6 months, that would be wonderful. This is the startup nation. This is 2008, and you're told that if you want to start a software company, you've got to wait 6 months. The situation today is much better, but less than a year ago, I was in Taipei. I was visiting a retail operation in Taipei, which is 30 minutes from here, and the person can't accept credit cards from customers because Bezek hasn't yet supplied the infrastructure to support credit cards. The point about all of this, when you talk about infrastructure in the Arab community and the challenge it creates for Arab businesses, is that obviously they have to internalize a huge amount of costs that companies that start in Tel Aviv don't have to internalize, right? And that hits your margins, But it also limits what you can do. It limits what kind of businesses you can start. So when people say, what happened to high-tech in the Arab community? Build the infrastructure and you'll have high-tech in the Arab community. The second issue is employment. Employment goes to the issue of education and who's, what kind of workforce is available in the Arab community. So when we started Galil Software, there were about 300 Arab engineers employed in Israeli high-tech. It's 300 out of about 50,000 engineers. Today, there's about 800 to 1,000. So there's been quite a nice increase in the last few years. And by the way, I fully anticipate that the numbers will double in the next 3 to 5 years. So you'll have about 2,000, maybe even more. And the reasons are pretty simple, because there's both demand and supply. On the demand side, there's recently Eugene Kendall led, who's from the Prime Minister's office, led an analysis of the demand for professional labor and professional skilled people in Israel, and found that there's a 20,000 person gap in the next 5 years. So there's a huge demand for professionals, and I think that will affect the demand for Arab professionals, which is a good thing. And on the supply side, just one statistic to give you an idea, 20% of the class that started the engineering class at the Technion this year is Arab. So by 2016, 1 out of every 5 Technion graduate will be from the Arab community. Another factor which is really important is that 20% of the adult population in the Arab community today has a post-secondary degree, a degree from a college or a university. The Arab population is educated and it's willing to work, and there's demand. Now, although I think we have to continue to support employment initiatives, and I think it's self-evident, I don't think it will solve the problem of the economic gap between the Jewish and the Arab community. And the reason for that is that I expect that most of the jobs will continue to be created in the middle of the country, in the center of the country, around Tel Aviv, etc. And not, unless something else is done, those jobs will not be created in those large, in the centers where large Arab populations live. And this is particularly a problem when you think about the issue of women employment, because today 70% of Jewish households have 2 incomes. 20% of Arab households have 2 incomes. If you don't create employment for Arab women, you're not solving anything. Now, now the fact that you're going to be creating jobs in the center of the country doesn't solve the problem for women living in the Galilee, because if they're, like Jewish women, still the primary caregiver in the house, and therefore they're not about to spend 2 or 3 hours commuting back and forth for a job. Although, by the way, many of them do, because if you live in my moshav, most of the cleaning women come from the Galilee or the Mishulash to clean our homes. They're actually traveling 1 hour to 2 hours in order to work. There's a misperception, by the way, about women in the Arab community and their willingness to work. There was a survey done in Jerusalem recently, and 90% of Arab women are looking for work at any one time. And 90% of the unemployed women are looking for work. So to complete this picture, although there is increasing employment of Arab professionals, unless there's something that is done in order to bring jobs to the large Arab municipalities, at the end of the day, you're not going to really solve the economic gap. And this brings me to the third subject, which I think is the most important subject, which is entrepreneurship in the Arab community. The startup nation didn't kind of come out of thin air. We loved it. I was here in 93 to 94. By the way, I've lived here since 94. It's, my wife says it's a bad reflection of my intelligence, but yeah, she's right. But the point is that I came at the very beginning of what was going on in terms of high tech, and I was part of it and enjoyed it and so forth. But what we forget is that one of the main impetus for the startup nation was the Yozma program in 1993. The Yozma program, the government took $80 million, gave it to 10 funds. Those 10 funds were funds like Patango, Gemini, JVP, Carmel Ventures, etc. And funds that today are managing billions of dollars started off managing $20 million each. And what that VC capital did, what that venture capital did, was to structure the organization of deployment of capital. It actually organized how money goes into high tech, right? Over the last 15 years, there's been more than $15 billion deployed. Somebody said earlier, you shouldn't be worried about failing. That's what the VCs do. They don't worry too much about how they deploy their money and fail. But the point is that they deploy a lot of money, and that's why we've had the growth we've had in this country. I've been very fortunate in the last 4 years, in addition to Galil Software, to be involved in establishing the first VC that's focused on the Arab community in Israel. It's a VC called Alba Water. We have we by the way raised about 80 million shekels. I switched to shekels because the numbers are more impressive. We raised 80 million shekels from the government in a Yozma type program. We raised another almost 100 million shekels from private investors. The fund is about 180 million shekels. And we invest only in the Arab community. We invest in early stage, we invest in late stage, we invest in technology and also in traditional companies. We've partnered with Patango. Patango is actually both invested in our fund and is helping us manage the fund. I manage the day-to-day activities with my partner, Habib Khazan. To date, we've approved 7 investments. And really one of our major criteria is that the companies we establish have to be located in the Arab community. And the idea is and I think it's going to work, is to start building clusters in the Arab community that will then start creating the ecosystem for new companies to build. So we've got a company in Shfaram, we've got companies in Nazareth, etc. And it does have an impact. But that's how you're going to create jobs in the Arab community. That's how you're going to, hopefully start developing the Arab economy. I'll just pretty much finish now and let Ines take over. I just want to add one comment. Ines is recently left Galil Software to take on a completely new challenge, and he'll tell you about it. I had the great fortune to work with Ines for many years. When you enjoy what you're doing, it's not about what you're doing, it's who you're doing it with. And we had the great opportunity to start building this company together with some very good friends, Zevi Bregman and Itzik Danziger and a whole bunch of other people. And it's a great, when you do something successful, even when it's not very big. And Galil, is 130 engineers, but we built something out of nothing. And whenever you do that, it's a great buzz, and that's what we got the chance to do. Ines, you can take it from here. Ines can do it in Hebrew or Arabic.
ערב טוב לכולם, אז אני אמשיך באנגלית באמת שיהיה רצף. So thanks a lot, Jimmy. Has been a pleasure. 5 years now that I've been working with Jimmy, and it has been an extremely enriching experience. I can claim that I'm one of the first Arab entrepreneurs to think big. There are other Arab entrepreneurs who maybe 10 years ago started high-tech companies, but they remained small. They didn't know how to take their companies or the ideas and propagate them into the global high-tech or international high-tech, or specifically the Israeli high-tech domain. And the way I think I was lucky is by being introduced to people like Jimmy Levy, Itzik Danziger, and Zevi Bregman, ex-Converse CEOs, presidents, etc., who managed to basically pave the way for an entrepreneur like me to take an idea, develop it together, implement it, and create the most successful high-tech company in the Arab sector. If we go to late 2007, Jimmy went around in the Arab community and found out that over 2,500 Arab engineers were unemployed. They are Technion graduates, Tel Aviv University graduates, Hebrew University graduates, etc. In 2008, Israel outsourced 8,000 jobs to India, China, and Eastern European countries. I mean, everyone working in the high-tech knows about undocked centers in India of 4,000 or 5,000 engineers and other centers as well. And today, almost every high-tech company thinks implements, outsources to Eastern European countries, Southeast Asian countries, etc. So the supply and demand equation in a free market economy should have taken care of actually this imbalance, but it didn't. And it took investors like Jimmy or entrepreneurs and investors like Itzik Danziger, Zeev Bregman, Oren Zeev, and some other high quality investors to put their money on a place where you can create a business, or you can see a business opportunity that can basically match the supply and demand. So Galil Software is basically an outsourcing company that provides software, high-level software development services for high-tech companies. The company was established early 2008. To date, employs over 140 engineers, Arabs and Jews. Majority are from the Arab community. The company employs about 31 Arab female engineers. Now, thinking about Arab women, as Jimmy just explained, with 80% unemployment, having 31 Arab female engineers is a remarkable achievement. The company is today working or engaging in contracts with leading high-tech companies from HP to GE to CA at an international level, all the way to Saragon Alot and some other leading high-tech companies in Israel. I think what we have done in these 5 years is we took a business approach to solving a social problem. Actually, this is a political social problem, but we took a business approach to address this issue. And I think the success of Galil Software is based on the fact that we had a pure business approach towards solving a maybe socio-political problem. What it took for us to, by the way, the company today is break-even, profitable, sustained business model, etc. So all the so-called investor bottom line has been taken care of, but I think the company has an additional bottom line. So we talk about a dual bottom line in our business, which is the social bottom line. We were able to create a real successful model of coexistence, etc., etc. Arabs and Jews are working together in Nazareth, in the heart of Nazareth, on top of the falafel places and shawarma places, etc. And we have over 20 engineers from the Jewish community working in Nazareth and not in Yuknam or other places. And I think this is just an evidence that we were able to create high-quality, high-tech jobs in the periphery. Now, it's not just the Arab community, it's the periphery in general, because north of Yuknam, there's almost no high-tech, and engineers from Tveria, Afula, etc., had almost no opportunity close to house, and now they find an opportunity in Nazareth to work in high-tech. I think the implication of the success of Galil Software is multifold. First, we are seeing today lots of new generation of entrepreneurs within the Arab community coming up with new ideas around high-tech, internet technologies, etc. Some of the opportunities Al-Bawadir is investing in are created by those young, highly qualified technical graduates from the Arab community, etc. We are starting seeing maybe the build of a small cluster of high-tech in the north of the country. It might take another 10, 15 years or 20 years, but this is the way the Israeli high-tech as a domain started, as Jimmy just explained. Back in the 90s, high-tech was military-based, and only in the late 90s we started seeing the shift towards the high-tech bubble we talk about today in Israel. Second, we see today lots of competitors. Many of our competitors in the area are followers who, after the big success of Galil Software of 2-3 years of success, etc., started their own companies, and also in the outsourcing domain. But I think this is the way the food chain can be climbed up, and successfully so. We see a third phenomenon indicating the success of this model. Amdocs just announced about 9 months ago that they are opening a technical service center in Nazareth that will employ about 200 people, 200 to 400 people, serving the European market, including weekend work, etc., etc., because in Tel Aviv you cannot work over the weekend. So some other people are willing to do that, etc., and that's good for all of us. And actually, the thing is that these jobs would have been outsourced to India, right? It's Amdocs centers in India who would have been serving the European community, while Arab engineers or technical people in the Galil are unemployed. So the idea is how we create a bigger pie. Okay. This is the goal of having a business approach towards solving a social problem. Now, Jimmy, so I'm going to stop talking about Galil Software. About a month ago, I left Galil Software. This Sunday, I started a new job as the CEO of a new company called Alphanar. בעברית זה מגדלור. Alphanar is a joint effort of the government, the joint, and Yad Nadiv to create a new approach towards increasing the employment or potential employment of the Arab community and economic integration into the Israeli economy in general. This is a non-for-profit. It's a חל"צ, חברה לתועלת הציבור. I'm a high-techist, 25 years in high-tech at Nokia in Germany and Finland and Ericsson, etc. 20 years abroad in Germany and in the US. I came back. I worked in ECI in Petah Tikva in high-tech, led Galil Software, etc., etc. And now I made a major shift in my career to take on a new challenge called the economic integration of the Arab community will not happen from politicians. They can aid, but it has to come from entrepreneurs who have a new approach towards solving a social problem. You will hear about Alphanar in the next couple of months, etc. Once it's announced, our goal is to create employment centers, high-quality, high-tech-based employment centers in the Arab community. And the goal is within the next 5 years to be able to create 10 to 15,000 jobs for the Arab community. This way to increase an average income of an Arab family from less than $10,000 a year to maybe around the $20,000, which is still 2/3 of an average income of a Jewish family. The OECD actually gave alarming numbers. In 2050, right now the employability of the Jewish employable people is about 78%. And in 2050, due to aging and a change in the demographics of the Haredi population and the Arab population, the employable people will become 64%. I have slides. I have all from the Ministry of Finance and Ministry of Employment. And what I'm trying to say is that in 2050, if we do not address these issues of employment in underemployed groups within the Israeli society, no one will be able to get pension. No one will be able to get bituach leumi. No one will be. These problems might sound now theoretical. Actually, Italy is right in the middle of this crisis, and France is following, and Germany is following, etc., etc. And so they got to this problem due to an accelerated aging problem in the European community. But I think we are smarter than the Europeans, and we are realizing that the problems can be addressed earlier, and maybe we'll be able to at least, if not eliminate this problem, but make it smaller. Thank you. בהחלט לא בטוח שאני יכול לשאול. מארצות הברית, מה אתה עושה? שמעתי את זה די הרבה. כי איך שאתה חושב ואיך שאתה מתנהג, בכל זה לא תמיד. אז בוא נגיד ככה, אני חושב שאנחנו יכולים להיות מעודדים משני דברים. אחד, זה באמת, עם כל הבעיות הפוליטיות, אני מדבר עכשיו בנימה האישית, השכבה העסקית של המגזר הערבי רוצה להשתלב. It's about what can be done in order to enable us. אני לא מכיר אנשי עסקים ערבים שלא מדברים על ה-threshold, ה-barrier to entry, ואיך אפשר ולמה זה ככה. בואו נדבר על banking system ו-credit lines וכו' וכו'. למה זה קשה לערבי לקבל קרדיט עבור חברת הייטק או חברה כלשהי, חברת ייצור בתעשיית מזון, שמע, יש 4 מפעלי טחינה במגזר הערבי, משהו מדהים. ראית מפעל כזה מייצר לשופרסל או לזה? השאלה היא למה, אולי צריך לעשות investment באיזה production line שיתאים את עצמו ל-mass production ב-high quality, etc. לא יודע, אבל אני רק נותן את הטון הזה שאנחנו רוצים להיות חלק מה-business community, אוקיי? And you guys have to enable this. ויש כמה דברים שחייבים לעשות וצריך לעשות. עכשיו, למה זה חשוב? כי ברגע שיש לנו businesses, שהם אולי joint businesses, או שהם businesses ברמה בינלאומית, אנחנו נוכל לפרוץ את הדרך. We want to be the bridge. רק לסבר את האוזן, מדובר על כמה מיליארדי דולרים, היקף הסחר העסקי בין ה-Palestinian Authority ברמאללה לבין מדינת ישראל. שלא יגידו לנו שאין עסקים. מיליארדי דולרים. ג'ימי, maybe you know, I'll switch to English, maybe you know that. How many billions of dollars are trade between the Palestinian Authority and Israel? 16 billion shekels. This is $4 billion worth of trade between the... Sorry?
Take out the energy and you have less than $1 billion.
Okay, now you go into the details. I'm not the details guy right now. לא, עכשיו ברצינות. אני יודע שבונים עכשיו עיר ברמאללה שנקראת עראוואבי. 70% of the contractors are Israeli companies, from those who are building the AC systems to whatever, okay? Engineering of sewage system, etc., etc. Huge amounts of... So the question is, how can we build a sustained model where we create these businesses that can go to Amman and start from there operating into the Middle East? The Middle East doesn't need us. We need them. Because they can buy their services in India. You know, if an Arab bank in Abu Dhabi רוצים לעשות רוצים לעשות לוקליזציה לתוכנה שפותחה באנגליה לשפה ערבית, או פותחה במקום אחר לשפה ערבית. מביאים מהנדסים הודים, מלמדים אותם לא את הערבית ממש, אלא את החוקים של השפה, ואומרים להם בואו תשכתבו את התוכנה. אנחנו יכולים לעשות את זה. אבל כשאני גליל סופטוור, חברה של 150 מהנדסים, ה-Central Bank of Abu Dhabi לא יעשה איתי עסקים. אבל אם אני חברה של 1,000 איש ויש לי משרד באמן שיושבים בו 300 מהנדסים, אז כנראה שיש לי equal shot at such opportunities. אז אני שומע די הרבה למה אנחנו לא מצליחים לחדור לשווקים הערביים וכו'. לא מצליחים כי קודם כל לא רוצים לעבוד עם משה ישירות. סתם, אולי בתחום הביטחוני היום עובדים, אבל כשזה מגיע לעיתונות וכו' וכו', אז כאילו הם לא עובדים. אפילו מדינות כמו מצרים וירדן שיש יחסים דיפלומטיים. כן? אבל מתחת לשולחן יש הרבה עבודה שנעשית שם. ואני אומר, על מנת להגיע למצב איפה שאפשר כן לבוא לשם, זה צריך להיות מיזמים שאולי הם joint ventures בין ערבים ליהודים, אולי Arab-led מה שנקרא, כן? ואז אפשר לפרוץ את החומה הזו, אבל העיקר הוא, זה צריך להיות חברות עם טכנולוגיות, דווקא לא בהכרח הייטק, ממש הייטק, זה could be medical device, אבל זה צריך להיות partnership וצריך להיות בפרונט מישהו מהמגזר שיכול לדבר את השפה, מכיר את הקלצ'ר וכו', ונותן, מרגיע את הסיסטמס בצד השני. זה ייקח עוד 15 שנים, אבל הנצ'ר שלי זה להיות אופטימי, אז... סליחה, אני התקפתי אותך. אני מדבר.